While Clarence is getting connected for the sake of time, let me just say this, and it's unfortunate that the AV is not doing what we wanted to do. Just like a computer, it'll do what it wants to do whenever it wants to do it. I do want to encourage you to take the information that Mr. Bass has given. He has an excellent format and program. It's a real non-traditional approach to resume. He mentioned that it's about a minute or maybe 2 minutes long. I know I did some research after talking to him about it, and in the DC area, Columbus, Ohio is very popular. Also down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, they're using this video resume in a big way. Fortune 500 companies are now doing this. New York, there's other places as well. They're using a video resume, and I didn't know anything about it until I talked to Mr. Bass and say, hey, this is a new way people are putting their images out there. Depending on the type of job or the nature of the work that you're seeking, that's another avenue. Just want to make sure I mention that. Just say when you're ready. You're ready, okay. All right, just fill it in the gap.
No problem. All right, again, my name is Clarence Brown, and my company is talking about where we provide nuggets that prompt independent thought. Nuggets that prompt independent thought. And when I say that, I say it because I'm going to say some things today that I made up, I pulled out of the air today, okay? But before you take what I say and adopt it for yourself, I want you to try it for yourself because I want it to work for you. Because I can give you my best guesstimate of how to get where I am, and you can follow to the T, and you won't end up where I am, because we started from 2 different places. So I'll provide a link to the talk independent thought. Now, what I'm going to talk to you about, today's interview techniques, a lot of it came from me interviewing. What my company does is, my company goes into companies and do employee onboarding, and then we'll go back and do annual retreats, because we believe that employees should come in the right way, and then they should be reminded of what we're here for at the end of the day. And again, all that came from my years in industry, interviewing people, building teams, and bringing people together. So the things that I'm telling you about here are going to be things that I looked for when I was interviewing. Okay, things I wish I'd have seen when I was interviewing. Okay, because when I interview people, you go to an interview book really, and the interview say, okay, these are the questions they're going to ask, and then everybody studies the questions they're going to ask, and then you know the answers to them, and then you come sit up in front of me and say, okay, I'm ready, and I say, I am too. Tell me about yourself, okay? And then I want to come from you, and I learn everything I need to know from listening to what you have to say. And it's funny. I mean, I'll tell you, even down to like if you have people that were in fraternities and sororities, I'm like, what's your line name? Oh, really? Why did they call you that? You see, because that's stuff that you didn't prepare for. And that's what I want to find out from you. I want to find out, because I tell people point blank, and it's funny, because like I say, I've done hiring, but the one thing I'll tell people point blank, and I know we got a recruiter in the room, and please forgive me for this, okay? All right? I tell people, when you send me your resume, you're lying to me. And when I put my job announcement out, I'm lying to you. All right? And so the winner, okay, when we decide we're gonna work together, we have that understanding. And so now everything else is out the window. Not taking away from your video resume. All right? Not taking away from your video resume. But when we get down to the nitty-gritty, when we sit down in the interview, it's a whole new ballgame. It's a whole new ballgame. You gotta take it up a notch, okay? And so that's what we're gonna be talking about. We're talking about today's interviewing techniques.
That's pretty similar to dating.
Oh my God, you taking my presentation. Stop it. Stop it.
I'm sorry.
She's so right.
Oh my God. Okay, all right. What's your name again?
It's Tamise.
Okay, Tamise.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I promise you I've never met her before. Okay, I promise you. But this is going to be funny. This is going to be funny. I'm just going to tell you straight, my objective, to reframe your mindset about your position in the interview. Okay? To reframe your mindset about your position in the interview and to offer some interview techniques that get results. That's what my objective is. I want you to know that up front. Now, what is the interview? What is the interview? Plainly put, I say it's a personal evaluation. Okay? We're doing a personal evaluation. We're doing an interrogation. And then it's recruitment. We're recruiting somebody to build a team, and you're recruiting a team to be on, right? Bam! In other words, it's speed dating. It's speed dating.
Do I like you? Do you like me? Can we do this?
That's it. That's exactly what it's all about. That's exactly what it's all about. And so, what I want to know from you all, right here, right now, and man, I wish I had something right on, but that's okay. We'll keep it in our head. If you were prepared to go on a speed dating event, what would you do to prepare? What would you do to prepare?
Dress up, first of all.
You dress up, okay.
Be at your best.
You be at your best.
You be on time.
You be on time.
Tell a lie.
So,
All of that was a lie.
what would you do? Come on, what else? I mean, because here's the thing, and I want you to dig deep for this. Because what you're telling me now is what everybody else is going to do.
Tell
I'm going to tell you, matter of fact, I'll tell you what, my son's 13 years old, and I tell my son to be early is to be on time. So when you tell me to be on time, I'm saying you're going to be late. You see what I'm saying? All right? So come on, I want you to dig deep. If you're going speed dating, come on now. I mean, we've been on Match.com or whatever these things are, and it's like, I mean, I'm just so tired of this dating scene. It's just not going anywhere. And so I'm ready to do this. And let me reframe it for you. Let me reframe it for you, because I actually like speed dating. All right, and I'm married. I've been married for 23 years. So when I say speed dating, I like the whole activity behind it. And so I've done seminars where I put business people in the room, and you're talking about the elevator speech earlier.
Yes,
we
sir.
helped them develop an elevator speech, and then we put together a speed dating event. And so what they do is they go through the room, speed dating, talking about their businesses. All right, and so we're trying to set you up for that. We're trying to set you up for that. So tell me, if you were going speed dating, what would you do?
Okay, a lot of things fall in the category of being your best, but you want to break it down a little bit more. You want to wash and wax the car, okay? You want those to smell good, make sure that you're smelling okay, and this, that, and the other, okay? Make sure that your teeth is clean, okay? You will be talking and so forth, okay? If you know what the individual looks like or know what kind of flowers she likes, you'll go to the flower shop, get her some flowers maybe, or something like that to that degree, or whatever. You will do everything to try to impress, okay, basically, you know, so.
Now, I'm gonna tell you something. Now, 90% of what you said, I throw out the window. One thing I want to key on to is you said if you know what kind of flowers she like, you'll get her flowers. I'm gonna hold on to that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold on to that one.
Okay.
I mean, you're gonna be walking there with a whole bunch of flowers because you speed dating, there's gonna be a whole bunch of room. That's okay. That's okay. Hey, I like it. I like it because you know what I have? I walk in the room with a flower bucket and I'd ask them, what kind of flower do you like? Wait a minute, I got that. Bam, there you go. You're original. You're right. Come on now. Come on. I'm like, look, you know what? To you, it looks like I just did this randomly, but I put some thought into this. I picked the flowers that I thought you might have liked. What is it? Okay?
Well, everybody likes roses.
Not everybody.
Well, not everybody, but for the most part, a generalization, okay?
Okay.
So if you don't know what kind of flower she likes, you know, you're not gonna get on the phone and say, hey, what kind of flower you like? You don't know the lady right now.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm just saying, I like the flower part.
Okay.
I'm not taking away from the flower part. I like the flower part. Now, I'm gonna tell you, my assistant at one of my former jobs, her husband sent us some yellow roses, right? And so I had to get a clue real quick on roses. My wife doesn't like roses, so I never had to worry about it. But her husband sent her yellow roses, and she was like, "Yellow roses? We've been married for da da da." And he sent me yellow roses. I was like, "Hey, he sent you roses," and she was like, "But yellow roses? We've been married too long to get yellow roses." Come on, man, what's up? Come on, man, you're on the dating scene. What's up?
I'm not on the dating scene.
You know on the dating scene?
No, I never did speed dating though. What I would do at a regular date, on a regular date, first of all, sit down, go to a nice place. Maybe I'll order food for her, especially if I go to a place that I like. Order some food for her, and then she'll be.
Don't let all the tricks out the bag.
I'll say sell yourself. I guess you can say that.
Okay, all right. Anybody else? Anybody? I'm
You might even compromise.
Huh?
You might even compromise on
Interrogation.
Okay, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on. All right. This is really gonna be timely because, okay, preparation. Scout your competition. That's the first thing I say. Scout your competition. We move back. We speak. You look at it. Speed dating. You look for a job interview. Scout your competition. Okay. Look at the position that you're going for. What kind of people apply for the position I'm going for? At the company I'm going to, at the competitor. Because the next thing I say is scout the company and its positions in the industry. Okay? Say for instance, Colonial Life. You're interested in interviewing at Colonial Life. Don't just find out about Colonial Life. Find out what the competitors look like. Find out what the people who are better than Colonial Life are like.
There's not anyone better.
And we do agree. There's not anybody.
Okay? So find out who's nipping at Colonial Life's heels. All right? Okay? So find this information out, and it's going to be important because the next thing you're going to do is you're going to develop a potential growth strategy using your skills. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing, and this is the mindset, I'm trying to reframe your mindset. Because what we're doing is we're saying, I'm gonna set myself up to look good, smell good, sound good, have a good resume, and walk in the door and interview, and that's when the process starts. All right? That's not when the process starts. If you do that, you've lost the battle. You've already lost the battle. Really. Okay? And so my thing is, when you walk, you want to know everything about this company. Okay? You want to know their pluses, you want to know what their minuses are, you want to know what their deltas are, what their changes are, what's their growth strategy. I mean, if you can get a copy of their, you know, mission statement, you know, what is their mission statement about? What kind of issues have they had? Because here's the thing, I'm trying to develop a real partnership. So, you know, for me, dating, when you start talking about dating, you start talking about getting serious, okay? You start talking about courting somebody, you talking about getting serious. I'm not just playing around. I'm here because I want to make a difference. I want this to be the thing. This is it. And so when you walk into a company, if you're really looking to get a job, you want them to know that this is it. I know you, I know me, and we're a perfect match. And this is how. And the way you do that is by developing this potential growth strategy. You're not going to walk in and tell them how they're going to grow, but you're going to know what you bring to the table that makes them better. Prepare to go beyond the resume. Guess what? Like I say, in the resume, you gave me the resume. I look at resumes and I start picking resumes apart. It's what I do. It's funny, I did a workshop actually in Atlanta earlier this month. And it was interviewing skills. And I was looking at resumes. And so I told them the same thing I told you. On the resume we lied. There was this one lady sitting in the corner. She said, I don't lie on my resume. I said, oh, really? She said, no. I said, are you sure you want to say that? She said, I don't lie on my resume. I said, okay, give it here. And she gave it to me. And I said, are you sure you want to do this? She said, yeah. And so I went through, and she owns a paint and body shop. And so I said, okay, you prepare cars, you have to do this, and then you do payroll. She said, yeah, I do payroll. I said, what does payroll look like to you? And she said, well, I get the money out the bank and I write a check. I said, for real? That's what you do? She said, yeah. I said, what about FICA? She said, huh? I said, but you do payroll. Okay? Because here's the thing. When you, on your resume, think about it. How many people say I'm proficient at the Microsoft Office suite? All right? Everybody, right? You proficient at Microsoft Office suite? Can you use Access? You can use Access. Good. What is Access?
Program.
For real.
It's a relational database.
It's a relational database. Okay? Now, most people, when they start talking about I'm proficient at Microsoft Word, Microsoft Suite, they talk about Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little bit of Excel. All right? Okay, they don't know anything about pivot tables, right? Okay. But that's what you do. Macro. But they'll say, okay, I'm proficient at this. Okay? That's fine if you want to put it on your resume. If you sell it to get in the door, that's fine.
But you tell them a lie.
But you tell a lie. All right? All right? Google redress to impress. Google redress to impress. Here's the thing. Social media. How many here got social media presence? Okay, cool. Check this out. Here's what I tell people, and I want to do this. You have to have an internet presence. You have to have an internet presence. Because you're going to have an internet presence. Now, it's up to you what it looks like. Now, my mentor is, and he'll be 60 this year. And so he just hates the internet. I'm not going to do that. And I say, fine, let's go Google you. Have you ever Googled yourself? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go Google you. We went out and Googled him. His name is Gilbert A. Knowles. Okay, we Googled Gilbert A. Knowles. Now, Gilbert A. Knowles is a retired lieutenant colonel. He used to work at a university. He used to work for a nonprofit, and he's like the professional mentor. I mean, he'll tell you, he wrote a book called Help Them Pull Their Pants Up. That's going to be key. Help them pull their pants up. He's a professional mentor. When you Google Gilbert A. Knowles, it came up a guy in Miami, Florida, where Gilbert A. Knowles is from, who went to jail for killing a child. Now, think about it. Here you are, you're saying, my name is Gilbert Knowles, and I want a job at your outfit working with children. And I go Google you, because we will. And that's what comes up. It's not even you. Google redress to impress. Because here's the thing, when you walk out there and you Google yourself, which I think you should do on a weekly basis, maybe a monthly basis, see what's out there. Because guess what? If I don't like you and I put something out there nasty about you on the internet, you on the internet.
Can I interject something?
Go right ahead.
Okay, do professional companies really Google people?
Yes.
Absolutely.
But for the simple reason, just like you said, there's a good possibility you can get the wrong person.
That's right, but I can't
Okay.
take that chance.
Okay.
I can't take it because you're not the only one looking for the job. And I'm willing to pass up on you because it's a risk, because I'm doing a risk assessment. And you know, and you said something earlier, and what you said was true. Interviews are subjective, okay? Resumes are subjective. They are, okay? But here's the thing. At the end of the day, I am in charge of production. That's my job. As a manager, the bottom line is I have to produce. And so the people that I bring in have to produce. And so if you show me you can produce, I may have a cousin that I really want to hire. But if you show me you can produce and you can take some of the pressure off of me, guess who I'm gonna hire? You. And so my thing is, yes, Google. I Google people. I all the time.
So does that take place with a background check?
No.
not at all.
It's gonna be two totally different things.
Okay.
Because you know what? A background check is gonna tell you how formal people see you.
Dreaded agency.
Huh?
Dreaded agency.
Yeah. Yes.
Mr. Brown, would it be safe to say that the use of Google is just the new way of the world? It's just what happens now.
It is.
It won't take the place of the background check or screening, but it is just the way of the world because of social media.
That's it. Yes.
But I would also add to that, the Googling part of this, and tell me if you agree and speak to it, says how you conduct yourself on a regular basis. If you're somebody who blogs or says things out of, I don't want to say out of character, but you say things, you know, whether it be political or whatever, that's what Google's going to pick up.
That's exactly what Google.
It's not going to pick up on the formal side.
Yes.
Not only that, sometimes they want to see what you look like.
That's right. That's right. You trying to hire from video resume? Seriously. No, seriously.
Right.
I will tell you, I Google on a regular. If your name comes across my desk, I said, that's an interesting looking name. Google. It's too easy. It's too easy.
I want to add just one last thing, Mr. Brown. You're absolutely right. I did a class last year to about 80 educators and teachers. And one of the things I was warning them about is being careful how they interact with social media. You don't want your classroom teacher or your educator on their Facebook page or some other type of social media showing themselves at the beach or showing themselves at the party with a glass of whatever they may be drinking. The message they're sending doesn't match the mission statement of the company or the organization or the institution that they're working for or representing. And that's really what employers are looking for, to find out. Although your personal life is your personal life, but we're going to find out a little bit about you because somehow your personal world, you know, you've heard this saying a million times. Leave home at home and leave work at work. Well, you can't do that. There's no way to do that. Because when I get home, I debrief with my wife about some of the activities in the workplace. When I get to work, my best confidant in the workplace, I'm telling him or her, oh man, think about the boss or think about so-and-so. It just happens. Enough said, but I just wanted to point out why, because of technology and the way of the world, with the new infrastructure of technology, it's just what happens. It's like blinking your eye. It happens without people even knowing it.
It's true. And I tell people one thing, and this is the mantra I stand on, character is constant. Character is constant. And so here's the thing. When you come to work, you may try to be ideal, and ideal will hide for a while, but at some point, real is going to come out. And I want to make sure when real comes out, I'm already knowing what real looks like. That's it. All right? So that's preparation. We're doing all this in preparation, okay? This is, you know, we're doing a background check on the company. We're trying to figure out, okay, where may there be some holes in the company that I may be able to fill? How some people at other companies fill those same holes? Okay? Because again, the bottom line is the company needs to stay competitive as well. And the person that they bring on, of course they bring, well, they don't lie to you about what they want you to do anyway. Okay? So they're going to bring you on and tell you they want you to fill this role, but as soon as the hot initiative comes in, they're going to want somebody that's going to be able to jump on that team. And if you're already prepared to jump on that team, it gives you a leg up. As a matter of fact, if you're sitting in the interview and the person is hiring somebody, they say, well, this is going to be an interim hire anyway. Because we know in another 6 months or another year, we have another initiative coming out and we're going to have to go back out and hire again. You're already setting yourself up to be that next person. Not to mention, just in case you don't get this job, okay? You don't get this position. but you're still on their mind for the next one. And that's happened to me a couple of times where I wasn't the first choice, okay? But then another position came open, and all of a sudden they calling me back saying, hey, I need you to come in and do this. All right? Any questions about that? Cool. Forget the competition, there is none. The first thing I told you was to know the competition. Now I want to say forget the competition, there is none. And the reason why I want to tell you that is because I have no competition for you. You have no competition for you. And if you set yourself up to be better than the next person, you may not be your best you. So know what you bring to the table. All right? Consider yourself a conglomerate. Consider yourself a business, an industry in and of itself. And people, I know years ago, people say, go get your own business card and you be your own business. I'm telling you to take it to another notch. Take it to another level. Be your own conglomerate. Develop a marketing kit that speaks to you and your core competencies. What are your strength areas? What have you been able to accomplish in your particular field? Down here I say, put together a portfolio. Do a portfolio. What field are you in? Retail? So you plan on staying in retail? Okay, what industry would you like to go? Oh, that's all that's okay. Come on. What do you want to do? You're not sure? We need to talk. How much is it? IT, okay. Now, so you do IT work now? Put a portfolio together of the IT work that you do.
I already got it.
There it is. That's the kind of stuff. I mean, because again, you can't send that stuff in on a resume. But when you walk in, and I mean, just say for instance, you're on the hardware side of IT, and you build some kind of cradles or whatever, you run some wires in some ingenious way. That's the kind of stuff that you want to show them. Because this is stuff, again, that does not show up on a resume and stuff that they're not expecting to see from you. And so you bring it in something saying, this is my craft, I'm good at it. I remember I had a guy that contacted me, and he had graduated from college. He had just graduated from college with a degree in marketing. And so with his degree in marketing, what he said to me was, can you help me find a job? Here's my resume. And I'm saying, wait a minute. You went to school for 4 years, got a degree in marketing, and you're using a resume? You're in marketing. The first thing he should have done was put together a marketing kit, because you're selling yourself. You're selling yourself. So, video resume, I put down video resume. Articles, have any articles been written about you? Have you blog? One of the things, again, when you start getting serious about wanting to get in the industry and doing your thing, start blogging about it. Because that's something else that Google will pull up. And then people can go out and say, oh, well, he's been writing about it. So it's not that he's just falling in here today saying he wants a job. He's been doing this kind of stuff for years. Again, now I'm looking and saying, wait a minute, this may be a piece to the puzzle. This is just not a whole film. Brand yourself. This is big for me too. I put personal URL, I explain that. Personalized thank you cards, take a professional headshot, go to Glamour Shots or whomever, get a professional headshot. And business cards, definitely get business cards and brand yourself. They all consistent. Now let me ask you a question. What's your email address? Cardale@live.com. What's your email address? All right, bellsouth.net. How you doing, sir?
Good.
What's your email address?
biznote@aol.com.
At AOL.com. All right. What's your email address?
KimTodd23@gmail.com.
KimTodd23@gmail.com. Yes.
Can I share my personal email address?
Yes, please.
My first name is Shonda. My email address is shonda@theshonda.com.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's Brendan.
That's what I'm talking about. That's branding.
All day long.
That's branding.
Shonda.com wasn't available, so I had to be creative.
There it is. That's branding. Now,
Shonda is available.
here's why that's branding. Because again, I tell you, I Google people that come across my desk. If I get a business card, the first thing I do is I go to the extension. I get your card that says dshonda.com, I'm going to dshonda.com because I want to know who you're connected with.
And what makes a the Shonda?
Well, yeah, what makes
Right.
up Shonda?
That's
Yeah,
what
that's it. I mean, AOL, I know what AOL does, and I mean, has absolutely. AOL spends billions of dollars to market themselves. Google spends billions of dollars to market themselves. Live.com, I guess, spend $100 to market themselves. Yes.
As a recruiter, I've been recruiting for 20 years, and I can't tell you sometimes how disgusted I get when I see certain email addresses, and this is true. I came across an email address, it was bigbootygirl@yahoo.com. I'm like, seriously?
On the resume?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Somewhere you found?
Seriously. So of course, she didn't get a phone call or email from me. But I mean, I've seen hundreds that are inappropriate, but I just,
And that tells you that the personality. Yes.
Mr. Brown, I so appreciate V. Shonda mentioning that because, and I don't want to glaze over that point, but two areas right now I want to make sure we shine a spotlight on. Number one, whatever that big booty, whoever she was that had that email address, was probably one of the applicants who needed the job the most.
Yes.
But that individual doesn't understand how important the message and the image in their name, in the email address that they're sending, just like when HR calls someone for an interview and they have to listen to all of this different genre of music that doesn't match. And why would you have that on your voicemail? And there's so many times I've called people back who called my office and they said, or I can switch my eyes to see you, but I can't switch my ears to hear you. And I've had to play the message back repeatedly because I couldn't understand what they were saying on the voicemail. The point I'm making, please spend another minute on why branding itself is so important. I don't want to.
Well, I am. I mean, this is not going to stop really. Because branding is ultimate. It is important. And I'm glad you made the point because I did not say anything about the music. You're right. I mean, on your voicemail, here's the thing, okay? You're not trying to attract friends. You have them. You're not trying to impress your friends. You have them. Don't let these professional modes of communication be a way of placating them or, keep appeasing them. You're trying to enter into a professional world, okay? Make sure that all the modes of communication that you have out there speak to where you're trying to go. Your friends won't get upset at you if you have a professional voicemail. They may clown you, but I mean, they're gonna clown you anyway. But some of the music, I mean, I don't listen to the radio often, but when I listen to voicemail, I hear a lot of the music, and it's unsettling because, again, if I'm calling you, because the bottom line is, the person who's in the position to hire you, or the person who has a position to fill, has a greater responsibility than taking care of you. Their position is their bottom line. In management, the bottom line is our job. And if I can say that I have somebody that's going to be sitting across from me that I know understands that, they understand branding, they understand how important branding is, then they're going to understand how important my business and branding my business is.
Absolutely.
Okay? If character is constant. I'm telling you, character is constant. What you do in small instances, you have the propensity to do in large instances. It doesn't change. We just hide until we get under pressure, and when we get under pressure, pressure becomes a fight, and it comes out. Okay? Now, I said personal URL, and I tell people this, I tell students this. It costs $10 a year, $10 a year to go to GoDaddy and buy a URL. $10 a year to go to.
we're always having specials. You can get URLs for 99 cents.
Okay, well, you're right. You're absolutely right. Okay, so you can go buy, it's your URL, yourname.com. Okay, and I'm going to give you another one because the downside to that is if you don't have anything to go along with it, then it's going to go to a park page. Okay, now if you're blogging, you can make it your blog site, but other than that, it's a park page. For me, whenever I come up with an idea, the first thing I'm going to do is brand it. I started blogging on reality checks. I work on the college circuit a lot, talking to college students and trying to get them pointed in the right direction, and it's so hard sometimes, okay? And so I started a blog site called Writing Reality Checks. And so I went out and bought the URL, writingrealitychecks.com. And then what I did was I blogged on stuff that should really just be a gut punch. I mean, the first blog I did was like flip-flops, wife beaters, and attitudes. Because I'm out here talking to college students and the ones who need it the most,
yes, sir,
walk in with wife beaters on, walk in with flip-flops on, want somebody to hand, are you going to guarantee me a job? Huh? There are no guarantees in life. So anyway, branding is important. So the next slide I got right here, this thing right here, I want to bring it to you. And I'm not an agent for them. Yes.
I just want to say, before you go to the slide, I really like the other slide at the beginning that says forget the competition, there is none, because that's totally how we think at Colonial Life.
That's it. There's no competition. Absolutely.
That was a beautiful plug for Colonial Life.
Hey, that was twice you was on the same board, man. Hey.
might need to just kind of mention them throughout the.
Colonial Life, our sponsor, has no competition.
And it's recorded.
This again, and for me, I have no stake in this company whatsoever, but someone introduced me to this idea, and it may be kind of hard to see. I mean, I want to flip the light right quick. And because I want to show you a video as well. But this company, it's called, it's a .tail, okay? And you can go out and buy your name, .tail. I have mine, Clarence T. Brown, .tail. And what you do with this .tail is, you can park all your personal information in it. What the field you're in and what you're after, and then you got your main telephone number, your mobile, main contact email, web, Facebook, LinkedIn, all this kind of stuff. Now, here was the value for this. The value for this was, say for instance, where you live now, are you buying your home? You are buying your home? So I gotta go to somebody else. Where you live now, are you buying your home? Come on, anybody not buying their home? All right, you're not buying your home, so are you gonna stay there for the rest of your life?
No.
Okay, so what you don't want to have to do is change some of your information if you decide to move next week. Right? Okay, and so with this, it allows you to actually go into the site and change your information, and it's always at yourname.tail. All right, you got that? Now, I'm going to show you a video. It was a video that was showed to me, and, you know, for whatever value, but give me the point. Let's go to the speed dating talk. How about that? And it'll help.
That was good, Mr. Brown.
So I share with point. So again, for me, it's all about branding. It's all about branding. That's a quick, inexpensive, easy way to brand yourself. And again, I don't make any money from this, but I'm just telling you, as just something to throw out. If you go to name.com, you can purchase .tail URL, purchase your name, you can use it for the rest of your life. $10 a year. That's a small price to pay to brand yourself. A small price to pay to brand yourself. Develop win-win partnerships. I need to speed up. But develop win-win partnerships. Know the company and its needs, and we talked about that a little bit earlier. Know what you provide that can meet that company's needs. So again, you need to know yourself, know what your strengths are, know what your core competencies are, and be able to speak to them. Know in a business setting what you can provide to that business. Okay? Articulate your value from a detached perspective. This is what I mean. I like to tell people, you have to offer stuff unattached. You have to offer stuff unattached. Because if you say something and someone doesn't like what you say, or they disagree with what you say, and they correct what you say, and you take it personal, you just missed the point. Because they weren't attacking you, they were attacking what you put on the table. And so I said, articulate your value from a detached perspective. I want to tell you a quick story about a friend of mine. His name is Dave West. And Dave worked for this company. And it wasn't Colonial Life, but Colonial Life is the best insurance company in the world. Okay? Yeah. And so, I may call Dave West and tell Dave West he's a good match for Colonial Life. But Dave West, he started out in the mailroom at this particular company. Okay? And what Dave West did, he started working his way up from the mailroom. And what he always did, and it always impressed me, was he always figured out what processes could be improved, what could be combined so that it could save the company money. Even to the point where he was willing to lose his job or his position to make it happen. He was always thinking company. And David West rose from the mailroom in this corporation to be like the vice president of all of North America. And by doing it, I mean, it was like he combined the market and said, okay, well, Dave, you're the perfect person to take over that department. Okay? And so what I'm saying to you is, if you articulate your value for the task position, you understand the company, understand the value that you bring to the company, and when you're in that interview, you're talking to them from a perspective of, because I'm telling you, if you're in my interview, you're talking to me, I'm not talking to you. And you're talking to me from a perspective that you understand the industry that we're in, and I'm looking at bells are going on now because I'm seeing all kinds of places that I can plug you in. You make my position easy. I want you. I have to have you. Okay? And that's when we start looking at win-win partnerships. Okay? Because the thing is, most people, when they go to a job interview, it's like, man, you know, I've been out of work for 6 months and I sure can't use this opportunity. Right? That's not that, you know, we may not say it, but that's our posture. Okay? I'm not looking for somebody who's just in here, you know, because they've been out of work for 6 months. Because the bottom line is, if I decide to pay you $40,000 a year and you get a job next week for $45,000, you're going to leave me and go. And I understand this because it's simple economics. But if you come in from a perspective of, hey, my name is Clarence T. Brown, and here is where I see your company, and here's where I can see myself plugging into your company. Because I see y'all really have some great things going on in your life. And next year, you know, when the new healthcare industry just takes the boom, I've already been researching. And I already know that I can be an asset to your company because I know A, B, C, D, and E. Okay? And when you start looking at it from that perspective, now we're looking at it from a partnership perspective because it's mutually beneficial that I hired you. See, if you come to me and say, I'm out of work and I just need a job, it's not mutually beneficial. It's beneficial to you if I hire you, but it's not necessarily beneficial to me if I fill the positions. And I made a hire like that one time, and it turned out really, really bad. I did, because we just needed to fill a position. And I looked at the resume, and, you know, the person on the resume, they had been through like 7 or 8 different jobs, and, you know, none of them was long-standing. But the person that we needed to hire was, you know, it was on the bottom rung, and so it wasn't really a big deal. And so we hired him, and we got stuck with him. And we wanted to detach ourselves, we couldn't detach ourselves because laws tell us we can't. And it was like, man, and whenever I talk to my team, hey, that was on me. That was on me. All right? Because I tell people, I don't care what your resume says, I hire for team fit. Because if you don't fit the team, you don't fit. I've seen people come in and they're the best people in the world. I mean, they got 4.0s on their resume. They've been, you know, vice president, senior vice president, all this stuff. And then you find out they're renegades.
What makes a good team fit in general?
Well, first of all, you got to know who the team is. You got to know what the team is and know that you're a piece of the puzzle. You also got to be willing to walk in and realize that, hey, maybe this isn't a good fit, and I'm willing to walk away. But you have to understand who the company is and what the company is trying to accomplish. Because if you don't understand that, then you've lost the battle. That was where when we was talking about the whole speed dating part, and y'all kept talking about how y'all gonna get dressed up and y'all gonna do all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, y'all listen to this point? That's why I said I like the roses analogy, because the roses analogy proved that, hey, at least I'm trying to do my research to find out about flowers for her. And when you going into an interview, if you walk into an interview cold like that, you missed it. You missed it. Remember, everything is negotiable if you can find the point of need. Here's the thing. If you know what the company needs and you know you can provide it, everything's negotiable. And you feel comfortable negotiating. I'm telling you, I took a job one time, and when I walked in, it was a contract, and I was looking for a year-long contract. It was a 9-month contract. I was looking for a certain salary. It was paying me more than I was looking for. And the first words that came out of my mouth is, was that all? I was kind of hoping it paid a little more. And I felt comfortable doing that because I knew what I brought to the table. I knew how I could benefit the organization. And what I wanted to do was plant a seed of doubt in that person's head that, hey, this person is not just here to, because I tell you, we have no competition. We have no competition. If you look in the newspaper and you see what the average salary is, and you shoot for the average salary, you just told me that you're just like everybody else that walked in here. That's what you told me. And my thing is, if you want to get a job in today's market, you got to show that you're more than that. You got to, under promise and over deliver.
Yes, sir.
That's what you have to do. You have to do it. Because I mean, you know what? This is This market now, I mean, folks out of jobs. You know, folks coming to the table with some stuff. And some of the stuff they come to the table with, we can't match on paper.
Mr. Brown, I don't know whether it's in your next slide or not, but I'm gonna ask you for a quick second. Would you speak to why all hope is not lost for those people who are 50 and older? Because that's a big part of the market now. A lot of folks have been displaced due to company downsizing during this past downturn of the economy. We have a lot of folk that have professional skill set. They're over the age of 45, over the age of 50, and they're competing in a tough, and they're having to do things that you're talking about tonight that they've never thought about or considered doing ever before, because they didn't come from an era or a time span that had all this technology. But all hope is not lost for that individual.
It's not. As a matter of fact, if you can show that you can come in line with some new technology, if you can show how you can come in line with, I mean, because I will tell you, hiring millennials, is not necessarily the thing that people want to do now. They just have to. Because millennials, and they have great attributes, they do. But they're not necessarily here to build my company for, the long run. They're here because they feel good about being here right now. If you're in that generation, my generation, your generation, I mean, it's like there is at least a semblance of longevity. One thing about us, we were loyal. And so that is a value to a corporation. But what you have to also show is, okay, yes, I have those old time values, but I'm in line with the new techniques, right? The new tools. We just retooling ourselves. That's it. We retrofitting ourselves. But I love old cars because I can work on them. These new cars, every time they break down, you got to take it to the shop, and they're going to charge you arm and leg because you can't even get to the doggone oil pan. I mean, they just put stuff on top of it so you can't even get to it. Think about it from that perspective.
Clarify.
Yes.
Can I interject something?
Yes, you can.
A lot of companies, and I'm speaking from personal experience, okay, they expect you to come in with these skill sets, okay, regardless of your age or whatever. Okay? They expect you to be retooled automatically, okay, based on whatever you're doing. They're not willing to have you come in the door and for them to reteach you, because they get somebody younger to do that. Okay, so how do you deal with a scenario like that?
But I'm not going to agree with that. What I will tell you is, if you walk in there and allow them to be that way, they will.
No, before they hire you, this is what they want to talk about.
No, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. I hire for team fit. If you come in and you show me you have researched my industry, you understand what we're trying to accomplish, and you see where you can plug yourself in to help me stay number one as Colonial Life, that's a value to me. That's a value. It does me absolutely no good to hire you and you're a maverick, because you have them. I mean, hey, if they go on the B school, they come out and they got these MBAs and, they got 4.0s and all this kind of stuff, they full of themselves. It's all about them. It's all about how can I bust through the glass ceiling. It's all about how can I get my boss's job. That's what it's all about. And we hire them because we have to. Because guess what? We don't have enough loyal people coming through the door that's showing us that they have the same stuff. I'm telling you, we are conglomerates. We have to market ourselves. Close the deal and run through this real fast. I probably got about 10 minutes left, right? Ooh, 9. Okay. Listen intently to what is being said, asked, not said, and not asked. Listen intently to what's being said, what's being asked, what's not being said, and what's not being asked. All right? Yeah, let's do it all, okay? Then be prepared to interview the employer based on your research and what is said, asked, not said, and not asked. Okay? So I'm listening to what you're saying. I know your company, and I'm telling you this. You're not going to sit in the interview and tell me that you're working on an initiative that's going to try to keep Colonial Life ahead for the next 100 years. Because that ain't your place to tell me sitting in this setting. But I know because I've been researching you, and I know how I've already been on top of what's going on in the next 10 years, and this is how I can plug myself in. Mm-hmm. That's how you get it. Because what you're showing them is, again, we're trying to do a win-win partnership here. I'm letting you know that if you hire me, most of the work is already done. Again, because what people put on the resume is a lie. You come in, you tell me you got Excel experience and you can't do a pivot table, you don't have Excel experience. Now I'm paying $1,000 to send you to a Fred Pryor seminar to get the experience. No, I mean, Anyway, all right. Don't rush the interview. Look to build rapport by integrating facts and interests into your conversation. Here's the deal. Again, my interview is always conversation. Don't rush the interview. Don't try to get straight to the interview. Don't try to get straight to the answer. Question, answer, get out the door. No. Build rapport. Build rapport. Find, okay, they talking to you and they tell you some stuff. Find some points of intersection.
Common ground.
Common ground, so you can talk about it. People buy people. Hands down. People buy people. All right? I tell people, I sold cars years ago. And I tell when it came to product knowledge, I was at the bottom of the heap. When it came to production, I was at the top. Because my thing is, you got maybe 10%, 15% of the people coming there want to know how big the tires is, what's the wheel displacement, most people don't want to know. Most people want to know, you know what, how fast does it go and do I look good in it? That's it. That's it. And so that's what I did. I remember, I ain't got time to tell the story, I'll tell you everything. All right. Follow up immediately with your personalized thinking. After it's over, it's never over. After it's over, it's never over. Because here's the deal. Things fall through the cracks, things don't work out. Even for me, doing my thing. I just sent out a packet yesterday for a conference that's happening in about 3 weeks. They already got everybody that they need. And I send my information out and I say, in case somebody cancels at the last minute, I want you to know that I'm available.
Right.
That's it. And this is what I bring to the table, and this is how it meets what you're trying to accomplish. It's all the same. Boom. Oh, I didn't mean to happen like that. But anyway, 80% of all battles are won before they begin. 80% of all battles are won before they begin. If you think that your resume and getting you in the door and sitting down and now having a conversation is going to win you the job, you're mistaken. You're mistaken. Do your homework. Develop a brand for yourself. Be a conglomerate. Understand the company. Understand yourself. Understand what you can provide for each other. Sit down and interview and show a win-win situation. You make the interviewer's job easier for you. For them. You make their job easy for them. But if they got to sit down and they got to start pulling stuff out of you and all this kind of stuff, and you just like the next person that's going to come in the door and you're just going to make me tired. If I'm the first person in the door, I want you to say, I don't need to see anybody else. All right? And that's it. Any questions, comments, suggestions? Yes?
I think the discussion real quick about how going about negotiating salaries. I think they don't say what you want up front, wait till they offer you something and then go from there. What do you suggest?
Okay. Okay, here's the deal. Again, I'm a company, okay? I'm a brand. I'm a brand, and I know what my brand is worth. And I'm not ashamed to tell you. Okay? I'm not ashamed to tell you. Here's the deal. What you want to do is make such an impression that if they can't meet your salary demand, they're willing to negotiate with you about it. Because they want you that bad. But they always got more money in the pot than they're going to tell you they got in the pot. Okay? And it's not always about salary. It's funny, I took a job real quick, and they couldn't meet one of my demands. And I was like, well, it was the vacation time. They wanted to give me like 4 weeks vacation. I wanted 8 or something, you know, crazy. I like to travel, right? They was like, well, we can't give you 8 weeks vacation, but you can take all the unscheduled vacation you want. Done. That's all that mattered to me. Because, I mean, that means now I got a free pass to leave. And so it's not always about the salary. But if you're a brand and you sell yourself as a brand, don't be afraid to ask for what you want up front. Okay? Because what's the worst thing in the world is if you go in and look for 60 and they hit you with 40, you don't want to come back and say, well, I was looking for 60.
Let's give Mr. Brown a round of applause. We're out of time. We want to thank our sponsor, Colonial Life, also Nancy Again Library System, who allows us to come in here each and every month. We are out of time. The custodian for the library has been here all day. It is 8 p.m. He has to go home to his family. I'm going to ask you to take your conversations and your last minute comments outside the door so we can lock up and get out. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a good evening.